Happy Halloween. This is the Halloween special this year. It's the unboxing of the Lego wooden minifigure, the Figure Boy, but oh damn, Skalidor14 really came through. It's your boy, skeleton costume guy. And so, first of all, if you see Skalidor14 Studios, please tell him to come see what we've done, what he has funded, what is going on here. Because he did a lot. He bought this, and we'll talk about it all completely more. But basically, look at this large minifigure. He's much larger than a regular minifigure for scale. Here we go. There's a scale one. He's made of wood, and he's only so very posable. Not the most posable. But I made him Halloween themed, and there's a whole making of video, and I will say, let's talk. For a long time, I've had a, what are they called? Collection? I don't know. On Instagram, where I've got a bunch of custom painted minifigures, and I will say, unfortunately, a lot of them do not look great. Will I say that this looks great? No. Well, kind of. So the idea was, and I don't know if you've ever been to a touristy shop in the islands or in Florida or somewhere tropical where they have a bunch of, they're kind of weird coconut carvings, and I would say they almost kind of look like voodoo heads and stuff. But the point is that they've kind of got this handmade quality to them, and I would really like to have captured that more with this. And I think when I had it in pencil form, it looked best when I had the bones penciled in. But overall, pretty happy with it. We've got the very similar printing to the, oh geez, where did I put him? Minifigure skeleton guy. Skeleton Suit Series 14, Monster Series CMF. They've also reproduced it apparently for the 2020 holiday season. You can get it in the Build-A-Mini at your local Lego store if they're offering that service. Mine wasn't, when I was there at least. Anyways, so very similar to that, we've got the bones for the ribs and the vertebrae, and then the hip, leg bones down the side, and then the feet. So I've elaborated on a little bit. I painted on the back of the feet to give it that similar look. Side bones. Overall, fairly difficult to do in a convincing way. What would I tell you? Let me tell you. What would I do differently next time? Next time, I would maybe print out a pattern instead of hand sketching it. I think overall, he looks fairly good. When you get up real close, there's some mess and some paint and some things that aren't great. But when you have him farther away, especially when he's on a decorated shelf, he looks very good. I think the biggest thing I would change is the yellow hands. Kind of take away from it, but I don't have a 3D printer to make white hands. So there will be a version 2 at some point when I track down someone with a 3D printer that wants to make me hands. I don't really want to ruin, I don't know, I guess I should paint them because it's not ruined, it's artistically improved, right? That's what we're talking about here. The backside is definitely the worst. I touched it too much and got all the paint smeared, and I tried some things with Sharpies and stuff. But I don't see that side very often. Should I have painted the rest of the head black to make it more like a mask like the original one? Maybe. I also didn't draw eyes in the face to make it a mask because I wanted it to be more skeleton-like than the skeleton suit guy. Again, the only posing we have is these hands. Oh, I forgot, the Lego logo up top still is legible. I got a little bit of paint down in there. Couldn't get the paint to go in there as nicely as I was hoping, but I do like that you can still see the wood grain, especially on the face. You can definitely get some good wood grain vibes, and I think that adds a lot to the handmade nature of it. I would say is that without the hands, like they're obviously shiny and plastic and not wood. It almost has a different vibe to it. I will say is that I'm not a clean painter. I'm not the best painter, so that happens. But I do think that it has a certain handmade charm to it that I wanted to preserve And I didn't do it the way I was hoping exactly. I was definitely hoping to be able to see a little bit more wood grain. You can definitely see the wood grain. You can feel it for sure. I tried to use thinner paints with several coats to keep that, but it didn't, there's a reason I don't do Warhammer or D&D minis and I do Lego, isn't there? So there is one other big secret with it, and I don't know if it's going to be dark enough in the room to show it off, but let's try. Now, that was the ambient lighting in the area. So hang on one second. Let me grab this. I did use UV reactant paint to give it a creepy Halloween vibe. But, it's only so effective. Unfortunately, the green paint, or it's a green pigmented glow-in-the-dark dye, and it just makes them look dirty. Covered the white areas with it, but the pigment isn't mixed as thoroughly through the paint as I might like, and you can definitely see speckles. So, let's talk about version 2. That's what we're going for. So, again, I don't feel like I ruined it. Do comment if you think I ruined it, because that would be hilarious to me. I think most of you are going to agree that it's an artistic upgrade. It's what Lego wanted you to do with this Lego Originals, Lego wooden minifigure figure-in boys Lego, 30 pieces, 12 plus. They wanted you to paint on it. They had a bunch of promotional pictures and stuff. I said it earlier and completely got sidetracked, but we are going to be doing a making of video. I took a fair amount of footage of making it, not the whole process, but a lot of it. It'll be going out to at least the members if you're interested in that, but probably eventually everyone will get to see a version of it. It's not glorious. It's fine though. I had a lot of fun making him. I didn't do a big old pumpkin carving this year, so this was kind of my guy. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of all the things to note. First of all, the hip piece. It's this piece, and this is one piece on a minifigure. It's all painted white. I painted it white around the sides, all the way around the back, and then again under here. In between the legs was a pain, but we got it as good as I could. The head, I tried to keep it as clean as possible. There's a little bit too much white here that kind of kept down, but again, for version 2, I would like to clean that up. I started with a white base coat everywhere, everything white, because you're supposed to do your lighter colors first and then do your darker colors over it. But then I had to sketch out where these bones and different details would be, and they're pretty damn close, I'd say. Again, from a farther distance, obscured by some things on a shelf, he looks great. I'll give you a couple pictures of that here at the end, I guess. Very spooky, very cool. So we painted all that white, the head all white, and then covered everything except for the detailed areas in black, which are those toes up the front of the legs. Around these details, it's one square or one rectangle on each of those. There's a circle, square, rectangle, square, bigger rectangle, and then around the back, like I said, I did take the initiative to paint the back of the feet, because the feet are on the top of the toes, and then the side, and then the front, so I went ahead and made sure that the back continued that. I could have possibly done the hip pattern for the hip bone in the back, but it would have definitely run into the stud holes in the leg more than I wanted. So, speaking of things that I don't want, there's this weird shape here because they obviously made it out of wood and for whatever reason decided that this shape needed to be existent, and it's just a little extra triangle piece on the hip. So I did go ahead and paint that white. I think for future iterations I would paint that black. You see what I'm looking at here? It's not part of the curve of this. It goes off up. So I would paint that black, and it would hide it a little more. So maybe next Halloween we'll do another touch-up paint of coat and see how that does him right, maybe. The other one is the eye here. Is he off-center, I think is the problem, is that he's looking just a little off to stage right. So I might try to redo that, but to cover over the black is going to be a pain. The nose was a lot of trouble to get to be that triangle. If we come up close, you can definitely see where I've hidden some of the black paint with an extra thick coat of white paint. But again, from a distance, you're watching this in HD. It's better than the human eye on the YouTube video service. It's a lot, but he has a very nice effect when it's darker and there's just a little bit of glow coming off him, and he's hidden in the knick-knack shelf. So I'm very happy with it, like I said. Thanks again to Skalidor. Please comment to tell me what you think you would do if you had $120 to buy one of these and paint it. What design would you put? I don't think I'm going to get a lot of people here 10 minutes in of me rambling about the Halloween special Lego minifigure boy. But my favorite thing is he can just kind of caress, just hold a minifigure in his arms. And look at those two. Aren't they a pair? Maybe we'll use him as part of the Undead Horde. Does he count? Oh well. Automatic video, subscribe, and then over in the nothingness is a video that I handpicked for you. Eventually it may be the making of video, but that video is not ready. So happy Halloween 2020. Yeah, pretty cool.